guys, it's Janie. Welcome back to the Bookworms Buddy. Today I'm doing my currently reading video. So, currently I am reading Pieces of Her by Karen Slaughter. Karen Slaughter is one of my favorite authors. I've read her Will Trent series, Grant County series, the Good Daughter book, Cop Town. I've read a lot of different books by Karen Slaughter, and she's pretty in-depth with her writing, so keep that in mind if you've not read a Karen Slaughter book before. This one is more thriller than it is mystery. In this book we're following Andy, who has this great relationship with her mother Laura. They do things together. She feels like she knows her mom inside and out. And then one day they end up going to the mall and a horrific incident happens. And Andy sees a completely different side of her mother. And so she realizes she doesn't really know her mom at all. And that is what this story is about. I can't get into it too much because after that, if I would talk about anything after the mall scene, it gives away the story. I will tell you that this is told in two different timelines. So the beginning part where the mall incident happens is present day. It's 2018 at the time. And then it goes back to 1986. So when I got to the first 1986 scene or part, I was really confused. I didn't know if this was going to be something I wanted to read. And then it just all kind of came together. So no longer confused. I figured out this is what the author wants you to put together, and I think I might have a handle on what's going on. I think. But I am more than halfway through this book, and I plan on finishing this book today, and I think I've got it figured out. So we'll see what happens. The next book that I'm reading is Jar of Hearts, and this is by Jennifer Hillier. What happened was I put Pieces of Her on my currently reading, and then Jar of Hearts showed up in my feed. I'm like, oh, Jennifer Hillier. Because I read a couple books by her a few years back. I read Creep and Freak, and it was a duology, I believe, if I'm correct. And I really enjoyed those books. I enjoyed the writing style, so I'm like, hey, I've got Jar of Hearts on my Kindle, so let's pick it up and read it. So in this book, you've got Angela Wong and Gio were great friends, and Gio was dating Calvin. That was their little group. But Gio and Angela were very close. And then one day, they're 16 years old, one day Angela just disappears. And nobody knows what happened to her. And 14 years later, they find her remains outside of Gio's home, and they discover that Calvin, who Gio was dating then, he ended up being some kind of a serial killer. And Gio knew about what happened. She lied to the police. She didn't come clean. She's not the one that committed the grisly murder of her friend. But now that all this is coming out, she was caught, and now she's going to serve time, but it's only going to be like for 5 years because she didn't actually do anything. And she pointed out Calvin, and of course Calvin will be the one, to serve the most time. She is now on the stand, and she is giving her account of what happened. And that's pretty much the story, but something points fingers in a different direction, apparently. I think that's what it is about. I am only about 7 to 8% into that story right now, but it grabbed me. So I'm really interested to see how this one turns out. And then I am reading a third book, and that one is After by Anna Todd. My daughter asked me if I would just read it and let her know what I thought, because when she was a senior in high school, she loved the series. And this series did start out on Wattpad, and that's where my daughter started reading it. And since then, she's got the whole series and what have you. So I did start to read that one. I'm not very far at all in that one, like 3% into it. But what she did tell me was Hardin is a hard ass, and he really is. He's really rude. And you got Tessa, who is going to college. She decides to stay in her hometown and go to college there. She gets there to the college and she meets a roommate who is just wild and crazy, and her mom wasn't too sure about this, but Tessa made her mom promise, leave it alone, let me work this out, and what have you. And that's where she first meets Hardin, and he's just rude. He doesn't talk to her, he just, you know, that kind of stuff. And they keep bumping into each other, and he treats her really bad. And I feel like all of these new adult romances, that always is the case. It just seems like the guy just treats them like crap, and they just can't help themselves. They're tripping over themselves to be by them, and what have you. And that's how I feel about these stories. So anyway, yeah, that's After by Anna Todd, and I'm reading that as well on Kindle, but I've got like a tablet, and then I've got like my Kindle, so I'm reading both of them separately. Yes, so that is what I am currently reading. Let me know, guys, what you are reading this week down in the comments below, and we will talk about it. Thanks, guys, for staying tuned, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.